Uh-oh. You guys know what this means. Beautiful, rustic looking cardboard tube, plastic caps, emblazoned with the Northfield Unexcelled Premium Pocket Knives logo. This one is very, very special. Let's see what it says on the top cap. Number 771214, Sawcut, dark chestnut bone. What could it be? Stay tuned, my friends. Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 5 November 2014. And yes, I have another new knife from Great Eastern Cutlery. This one not sent up from Florida from Steve. And how about the truth for the Traditional Knives Anthology? This one purchased by me. Brand new special factory order, brand new pattern, number 77. The cap isn't too descriptive, is it? Let's just take our Victorinox tube popper, otherwise known as the serrated Spartan, and see what's inside, shall we? Look at that wax paper. Oh my. You guys ready? Oh my. Just gaze upon her while I reassemble my packaging. Oh my. This is the new number 77 medium Barlow from Great Eastern Cutlery. And I'm talking brand new. They finished production about 10 days ago. Were immediately shipped to their father, author of the special factory order, Mike Latham, at collectorknives.net, and he immediately sent them out to his reserve list of folks who got emails to respond to with payment. I did so immediately, of course. Oh, look at it. You talk about classic on top of classic. Here's what it is, guys. I'm going to give you some specifications, like we do with modern folders. They won't mean much, but I'll tell you anyway. Handle length of this thing, 3 11/16 inches long, almost 3 3/4. The blades are 2 7/8 inches. A gorgeous clip point with a nice swedge and a Warncliffe, again with a beautiful swedge. This is kind of a different combination for a Warncliffe from GEC. I'll explain why as we go along. Overall length of the knife open is about 6 9/16. Blades are from 3/32 stock. Handle's about 9/16 of an inch thick. It is a robust 2-layer knife from Great Eastern Cutlery, and it weighs 3.4 ounces. Yeah. Look at this, guys. I have two full-size blades and a super strong handle. That's 2 EDC blades, essentially, at 3.4 ounces in a package that is under 4 inches long folded. Now, what does that size mean? Well, let's take a look at that, shall we? We'll put the new medium Barlow in the middle, and here is the one everybody wants to see next to it. The Tom's Choice number 15 Barlow. I try to line these up sort of butt end to butt end so you can get a good picture of the length. And then a similarly sized knife would be the number 78 American Jack. Actually, the American Jack might be just a tick longer, maybe 3/32 longer than the medium Barlow. So for those of you who love the size of the Tom's Choice Barlow, but you wish you could buy a Barlow from GEC that's just a little bigger and more robust, this is it. I was a little concerned, having been a former owner of the Northwoods Madison Barlow, that the knife would be too doggone large. And for me, the Madison Barlow was. For a carry knife, that's why I sold it. This one, not too large. It carries just about like the American Jack. So let's move these aside and talk about this one. You know, we have the Tom's Choice Barlows, lovingly referred to in the collector community of traditional knives as the Charlo, in honor of their father, Charlie Campagna. All Tom's Choice Barlows are done on special factory orders by Charlie. Need a drink of water, guys. This one, the first Barlow, special factory ordered by Mike Latham, I have dubbed the Bartham. I thought maybe Marlowe, but that sounds a lot like Charlo, and I thought we'd go a little different. So this is the number 77 Bartham. Let's go over its materials. Bolsters are massive. Nickel silver bolsters, pinned at the pivot and then pinned back here in the middle of the Northfield logo. No shields on Barlow knives, remember, guys. Any identification is always done, or most always done, by engraving in the bolsters. Liners are brass, back springs are steel, blades as we've come to expect from the Northfield Unexcelled line. 1095 carbon steel, and yes, I know it's really collectible, and yes, I know they're going to sell on eBay auctions in a couple months for double what they cost. And they probably would bring more money if you didn't sharpen them, but you guys think this is going to sit in my safe? I think not. Sharpened it is, and used it will be. But Northfield trim with satin blade finishes, and as Mike Latham likes to do when he does an SFO, no engraving, no laser etching on the blades, just plain. He orders them to be working knives. Action on these blades is stunning. Pull weight, I'm going to say 6 or a 7. If you guys keep an eye on collectorknives.net, the website, Mike Latham's website, he has a tab on there called the loading dock where he gives quick little thumbnail written reviews of knives as they come in. And he was absolutely blown away by the build quality of these 77 medium Barlows. The only 2 mentions he made on this particular model was he thought these Sawcut bone covers came out a little more looking like autumn gold than dark chestnut. I don't know how it's showing up on my camera. I guess you could call it either one, but either one, it's stunning, no matter what you call it. Absolutely stunning. The other thing he thought was that the blade action was just a little stiff. Now, I've had this knife for, I guess, less than a week. You know, these blades have maybe been opened and closed 20 or 30 times each, and they have smoothed right out. If you kind of look, when they hit the half stop going closed, if they sort of bounce like Roadrunner coming to a stop, they're very free, as they should be. Walk and talk is perfect. The nail nicks are nice and sharp, big enough for a man-sized fingernail to get into. Absolutely no issue opening the Wharncliffe blade. The nicks are perfectly arranged to get to that back blade. I mean, no interference whatsoever. In fact, the spine of the clip actually serves as a pry point. Just a magnificently designed knife for use. How is it in hand? Guys that own trappers a lot of times complain that the Wharncliffe blade gets in the way when you're trying to use the knife. You know, if it's an improved trapper with that Wharncliffe blade. And you do feel it. Thankfully, this knife is large enough that there's enough room to get the index finger in that saber grip position in the choil without too much of a hot spot on the back of the tang of the Warnie. You know, in these three fingers, you do feel the Wharncliffe, but not much. And that draw cut grip, pretty good. And then if you're, you know, as most of the cutting tasks you'll do with a traditional knife, you know, if you're just pinching the bolsters, cutting away, no issue. I will say this, it is a little more comfortable while using the Warnie. The clip, when closed, has a little lower profile. Oh, man. Let's take a look at fit and finish. Hold on while I wipe. Kind of close up. What do we look at? We look for gaps in back springs. There are none visible. I will tell you this. Right here about mid-shield, if you know, if you're in a dark room and shine a light across the spine, I can see a little bit of light, but nothing real visible to the naked eye from the outside. Transitions going across the back of the knife, seamless completely. Rivets are all very consistently finished on both sides. The level of polish on the bolsters is immaculate. Now let's check that one area that I always find to complain about on a GEC knife. That corner is perfect. That corner's perfect. I can just feel that bolster, and the same here, but I'm talking barely. You definitely don't see it. In this Barlow pattern, the covers where they meet the bolsters is so hard to finish. You've got Sawcut flats, you have a chamfer, not a radius, but a chamfer on the back part of the scales, and then they are radiused right here at the front. So chamfer meets radius. And it's pretty doggone hard to make those perfect, but oh boy, do they look beautiful. I mean, beautiful. I just love Mike Latham's eye for a pocket knife. He does, as I said, he does his special factory orders usually in Northfield trim, so you get line bolsters, premium GEC fit and finish, but he always goes satin blade, no engraving. I just love that. So, you know, if you use these knives hard and you want to maintain them and you want to sort of a mini restore, if you get the blades a little scratched up, you can just resatin them. You know, you throw some 400 grit sandpaper down on a piece of leather and draw the knife toward you with it sitting flat. Just sort of reapply the satin, put a new edge on. Looks good as new. If you were unfortunate enough for the knife to develop any kind of patina, perish the thought. That's for you, one all. Just resatin it, no big deal. A lot easier than bringing it back to a mirror polish. One thing that is so remarkable on Great Eastern Cutlery Traditionals, especially, guys, if you've looked at Canal Street and Queen and Case knives over the years. You see the quality, the precision of the grinds on this knife. Look at the sharpening notch. It's generous enough for a few sharpenings before you run out of notch. It is perfectly cut. The flat grind of the blade extends to the into the notch. There's no issues with getting the back of the edge sharp. Swedges are generally very symmetrical, and my two definitely are. And one function of the grind is blade centering. Yeah, that's usually a function of grind, guys. And look at the centering on those two blades, would ya? Let's look at the grind on the Warney. They're just flat and beautiful, completely precise. You set this blade down on the Edge Pro table, it doesn't move, it doesn't rock, it just sits there and lets you do your business. The thickness behind the edge on GECs, especially on the Wharncliffes, is super consistent all the way down. I'm going to try to get a good focused shot here for you. Look at the width of that edge bevel, front to back. It is straight as a die. And you think maybe it might be a little sharp. I don't know. Let's try a little Natchez Shooter Supply catalog paper. Let's just see. I think it is. Yeah. Oh my, do this all day. You know, a lot of people, I've probably said this before, a lot of people don't realize the cutting ability of the traditional pocket knife, especially one that is executed properly. The blades are so thin behind the edge. The steel 1095 takes such a keen edge. Modern folders generally aren't made to cut like this. There are a few, but they are few. They're not, these knives are not just pretty to look at. There's a reason that folding pocket knives have been around as long as they have. Traditional knives especially, they never stopped being made, my friends. It just so happens that here in 2014, this little company, Great Eastern Cutlery, after nearly a decade in business and some growing pains and some quality improvements, is absolutely rocking the finest production traditional knives in the history of traditional knives. Guys, you can't buy this knife anymore. They were pretty much all sold out before they were ever made. They made them in 5 cover materials, 1 blade configuration. There's this dark chestnut sawcut bone. There's a smooth pioneer bone, a rose camel bone, the abalone, just like in my improved Trapper special factory order knife, and then I think the last one was ebony. And Steve, how about the truth? If I'm not correct, you be sure to correct that in a comment. All but the rose camel bone and the abalone were pretty much sold before they ever hit Mike's website. There still are some abalone knives available for $139.95. The rest of them, guys, and this is unbelievable, Mike sold them for $95.95. If you think about it, that is a 2 full-size bladed medium frame knife. This knife, the Tom's Choice Barlow, is a single clip bladed smaller platform. It was $15 more. That's one of the advantages of a retailer like Mike Latham doing his own special factory order. There's no third guy in the middle. Not to take anything away from Charlie Campagna. His brain children in special factory orders are so cool. I'll happily pay 15 bucks more. Charlie deserves every penny we pay him. But this knife is a stunning value. I mean, a stunning value. And cinch up your belts when these start hitting eBay, my friends. They ain't going to be $95.95. They're probably not going to be $195.95. I think in the next few weeks some guys are going to flip these, and shame on you, by the way. And they're going to be north of 200 bucks, I can just about guarantee you. There's one thing we didn't look at. How do the ends of our back springs look? Look at that. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see if I can get this in the right light. Beautifully finished, nearly perfectly straight. See if we can look down into the cavity here. Yeah. Guys, are you looking at that? That's how GEC finishes the inside of a pocket knife in the Northfield Unexcelled line. They are something else. Just thought you'd like to see that latest masterpiece from Titusville, Pennsylvania. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.